we got quite to talk about in episode 19. First of all, before we get started, I do want to acknowledge my voice, if you guys haven't figured it out, with my voice at the moment right now. Yes, I am currently under the weather, but I'm not at that under the weather where it's contagious, which is basically what I'm trying to tell you is, yes, it's allergy season up here, and unfortunately, it decided to attack me this past weekend. So it's day 3 of the allergies, and I am feeling a lot better. So that's all I'm gonna say right here. And no, don't worry, I don't have COVID or anything like that. If I did have COVID, I would have told you guys on Twitter, and I would not be doing a recap. But considering it's just allergies, I'm good. I feel good, and I feel good enough to do a recap. Plus, we have something to celebrate. We got a party like it's in the 90s, because what a great week, for the most part. For basketball and hockey, yeah, it's been a very terrific week. But for baseball, there's still some problems. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that right now, actually. So let's talk about baseball, because I consider them the losers, as always. So, remember that 7-game winning streak that happens? Yeah, that's gone. That is all gone. Because, man, the Marlins, they just fell flat. They have fell completely flat since the Padres season. And we got to San Diego, what we explained last week. I did that rant, I'm sure you guys remember. Then we got to Arizona. We lost 3-4, which is yet another 1-run loss. It is a ongoing habit. Walker doubled to left, so that allowed Varsho. By the way, Varsho was annoying in this series. Even in the season, he was annoying. So he was a player of the team at that moment. So Varsho scored. Rojas, not Miguel Rojas. So not Miguel Rojas. Oh my goodness, ESPN. This is annoying. Alright, so not our Miguel Rojas. It's actually Josh Rojas, who reaches on a bunt single. So already it's not going well. And I'm already tired. I don't want to watch this game, but I did it anyway. He reached on the infield. He reaches on the bunt single, which allowed Pertola. I can't say his name. But regardless, there was some hope in the second inning, but that was quickly vanished. And again in the 4th inning, Stalin single to center, which allowed Garcia to score and Jesus Sanchez to score. So he tied the game with that hit. Then Varsho once again breaks the score. There was I will say this with the Marlins. Our hitting is getting better, and thank goodness for that. The hitting is getting better, but now we have a bigger problem to address, and it still remains the problem to this day. It's the pitching. They're saying, we said they have the best pitching in the league. That's even said last season, but you cannot speak from the stats. The stats is one thing, but if you're actually experiencing it, then you're wrong. Our pitching is not good. It is plain and simple, not good. Only 2 pitchers, maybe 3, stand out regarding the starting pitching. But for the relief pitching, it has problems, big problems. It is an address that we need to address right now on social media for next season. Because if this is going to be an ongoing problem, we have problems that we're not dealing with. So, Garrett Cooper homer to right, which was a 390 feet. And ultimately, it ended the game with Marte home run. So, final score was 3-4. Ernesto Hernandez, once again, did not pitch well. And Jesus Luzardo did not pitch well either. In fact, he pitched worse than Hernandez that week. And it got bad that he's not going to pitch tonight. In fact, it's actually Alcantara, which is surprising because Ernesto Hernandez actually pitched yesterday on the weekend of the 1997 World Series celebration. So, maybe there's going to be another starting pitcher being called up from the minor leagues. Max Meyer. Who else? Anyway, Jose Soler. He's starting to get hot, Jose Soler. So he homers to left, which is a 407 feet. So good stuff for the Miami Marlins. And then it was wasted very quickly. Luke Lowe also homered to left, which was an even bigger home run. It was a 430 feet home run, and that tied the game. And in the third inning, it got ugly. So Ahmed, Perdomo, Thomas, and Perdomo again. So that lineup essentially start over because of the fact that we just cannot pitch. And because of this, Luzardo was taken out after the majority of the third inning. So it was a 2.2 inning pitch. So there was some problems with Luzardo. Could not get the third out in the third inning. And Manley had to go to the bullpen early. Now remember what I said, the bullpen has a problem. And the proven here is pointed. 8th inning, we gave up 3 runs. When we really tried our best to score our runs. Excuse me. When we tried our best to score our runs, and we just could not capitalize. Imagine Bumgarner. He may be old, but he can still pitch, and he pitched better. So, in the 8th inning, Perdomo scores Rojas actually scored. Perdomo actually hit the ball. Thomas singled to shallow right, and almost doubled. So it was 2-9. And then Stallings with the last blow to make a 3-9 Arizona. And that was it. So there was some doom. There was some hope lost. But thankfully it did not happen in the last game against Arizona, which I thought it was going to happen, no lie. So let's see. Joey Wendell homer 2, right? Which is 2-0 Marlins out of the Cooper coming into 373 feet. Jacob Stallings single to left center, make it 3-0. Arizona scores from a Thomas home run to left center. And then throughout the majority of the game, it's been a pitching battle until the 8th inning, in which, of course, it had to be our bullpen. And who was it who gave up that home run? It was Stephen Okert. So he gave up that home run, the game-tying home run, and Anthony Bass had to come in to pretty much win the game for us because he got the victory over Melvin from Arizona, because in the 9th inning, Melvin gave up 4 runs, and it got bad for Arizona. So it was 2 outs in the 9th inning, and Miami scored 8 runs. 8 runs in the top of the 9th inning with 2 outs. That is the most in franchise history, scoring more runs in the inning, especially in the 9th inning with 2 outs. Franchise history broken. So that's something to keep track of. So Jacob Stallings singled to right center. Jazz Chisholm made a homer. It was a 3-run home run, 411 feet. So he got his wish. Home run a ball in Arizona, the team that he was originally with before he was traded to Miami in the minor league deal. Gonzalez singled to left center. And finally, Javier Garcia finally homered and getting his game going too. It was a bomb. 440 feet, which makes it 11-3. So we can hit baseballs. We can hit them. Our pitching needs to step up more. So Anthony Bass gets the win, and then we come back to Miami for a weekend series against Milwaukee Brewers. And it is actually a celebration weekend because it is 25 years since the 1997 World Series championship win. And we got guys like Sheffield, Jim Leyland, Hernandez, and those other guys. They actually had a softball game before the game happened. So, all right. Next up, we got the game against Milwaukee. Pablo Lopez, once again, outstanding. Wasted. 7-inning pitch, just 1 run from the Wong home run, and that was in the first inning. Jesus Aguilar homer to left center, and then once again, our bullpen. And it's not O'Kirk this time. It's Tanner Scott. Scott gave up 2 runs on balls. It was ball 4, and then Peterson walked, which allowed Christian Yelich, our former Marlin, to score. That same week Christian Yelich walked is the same week he got a cycle against Cincinnati Reds. A cycle. 3rd run in his career. Not one of them was with the Marlins. You see how frustrating you got? That's another thing with the front office. That's one frustrating stat to look at, especially if it's our guy in a different team. Absolutely disgraceful. Good for Christian Yelich, but boy, our front office needs to get their head straight. And ultimately, that's how we lost the game. It's from that walk. Anthony Bender got out of the inning. And guess who? Josh Hader, who, again, had a save. He was all over the place. And it was an easy win for them. Basically, it was an easy win. This game, however, in the second, when Jim Leland was actually talking to the broadcasters, there was actually magic happening. Adams homer to left, which was a 1-0 Milwaukee. In the 4th inning, Jesus Aguilar homer to right. So, 2 games in a row. A Milwaukee player hit a home run, and then Aguilar responds. So, 2 straight games, there was a home run. But then after that, RJ Soler, similar feat. It was a back-to-back home runs, Aguilar and Soler. So, awesome. I love this. We should do this more often. Should we? Trevor Rogers was pitching this game. And he's getting better. So he's starting to finally get things going. And then just when we were talking about how the bullpens and the starting pitching was trying to being used and utilized, Brian Anderson hits a home run. It was a 2-run home run. And just like that, the score is now 4-1 Miami. And then we got to a pretty long 6th inning. It is a pretty long 6th inning for the standards, but we didn't really care much about it because we want to score more runs. But for Milwaukee, yeah, it's been a pretty long inning. Anderson grounded to fielder's choice, which allowed Garcia to score. By the way, before that happened, there was actually some confusion that happens with Jesus Sanchez count. What happened was there was a check swing issue, and then it caught some of the confusion on the check swing. So there was arguments on that side, the Marlins side, and then actually somebody was actually tossed from the game from the Marlins side. I think it was Eric Thames, the hitting coach. So he got tossed out of the game, and we don't have a hitting coach for the rest of the game. And then there was another confusion, which would not let Milwaukee be happy about it, and it was a ball count. So the very next pitch after the check swing, there was a ball, which was a right call. But then he said it's 3-2, which it is not 3-2. It is actually 2-2. But thankfully, they got it right at the end. So there was arguments on both sides. But eventually, all that didn't matter because Jesus Sanchez was walked. And ultimately, that ended off with the Anderson granted the fielder's choice. Next, Miguel Rojas doubled to left, which would allow Anderson and Sanchez to score 7-1. And then Gary Cooper hits the fielder's choice to the shortstop, and let's allow Rojas to score. So 8-1 Miami. So a lot of things going the right way. We need to do this more often, especially in the series against Washington. Washington wants some retribution, folks, because what we did to them in hockey, yeah, they want blood. Renfroe actually homered to left center, 428 feet, which is a 2-run home run. And then, to end it off, Jesus Aguilar doubled to deep left center. That's allowed Jacob Stahl to score, and the final score in this game was 9-3 Miami. The last game of the championship weekend, yeah. This was not good. This was not a good game, and it ended ugly. And pretty forgetful game. Pretty forgetful. Let's see. Urias hit sacrifice fly to center, which allowed Adams to score. Peyton Henry got his RBI, which was good. So good for him. And then it makes it 2-1. So he got 2 runs in the third inning. Guess who? Jorge Soler, once again homer to right. So this was the type of thing that our general manager was looking for, and it's looking pretty good right now. He got 8 home runs. He actually has 5 home runs at home, and I think he has 8 home runs in the season. ESPN would just not tell me. Screw you. But anyway, since that Jorge home run happened, yeah, it's been all Milwaukee. Jock Peterson, I don't know if it's Jock Peterson, but Peterson homer to right, Wong homered. So back to back. Tellez single to left, which allowed Yelich to go to second and Brasio to score. Yeah, Hernandez was taken out that quickly again. So Tellez single to left center. Navies was single to right, which is 5-3. Talias homer to center, 412 to make it 6-3, and Urias single to right center, which allowed 7-3 Milwaukee. So, yeah, this was not good. So, all right, back from editing. There was actually a situation that happened in the Marlins game. So, I said something that was completely wrong. So, what ended up happening was there was a wild pitch that happened on the strike 3 check swing. And what ended up happening was the ball actually went to the dugout and it went underneath the wall. And it turned out that because of this, Anderson was rewarded first base because the ball lodged on a wild pitch. So even though if it's a strike 3 check swing, by rule, if the ball is lodged and stuck, you are rewarded. And it is a teachable moment, and yeah, folks, that's one of the combinations right there. So yeah, so that's what ended up happening realistically. So yeah, all right, back to the recap. Sorry for a little cut. I had to do the privacy thing. Like I said, I have allergies. Anyway, let's talk about soccer. So I want to start off with Miami FC because there was some trouble, and since that time where they were in the U.S. Open Cup loss, things have not been going well for Miami FC, and I mean not going too well. There was a draw last week. I talked about that, and then there was a loss that happened recently. So, let's see. Since the U.S. Open Cup against Inter Miami, they've won 1 out of the last 3 matches, and including a draw at Birmingham. They actually lost this past week against San Antonio at home. And who scored for San Antonio FC? Deshaun Beckford and Mitchell Tranter from the penalty. Yeah, not a good game. They got to do better. And in fact, San Antonio actually dominated more in the shots because they had 17 shots, 6 on goal. Meanwhile, for Miami FC, only 7 with 2 on goal. So no, not good, not good. Yellow cards issued to San Antonio, 5 out of 3 that Miami has, and corner kicks. We got more corner kicks with just 1. and the saves could have gone better if it went a different direction. But no, San Antonio, yeah, not good. Wednesday, we have a game against Detroit at home. And after that, it's against Charleston Battery in Charleston, South Carolina. Next is Inter Miami. So, pretty good week for the most part. Like I said, with the U.S. Open Cup. There was actually another one. This is the round of 32. We were playing against South Georgia Tormenta FC, which is near the Florida state line. And for what it was worth, we knew this was coming. An Inter Miami victory, 3-1. So, let's see. Who was the people that scored in this game? Ariel Lassiter, number 11. Next was Robbie Robinson after. And then guess who scored again? It was Lassiter again. And then Kazaya Sterling for Tormenta FC, who would get on the board, so no clean sheet. And then we move on to the round of 16, and then we play against Orlando City. So before we end with this little game right here, there was actually some curricular activity, and deservedly so, they both got tossed from the game, from the red card. And it was Robbie Robinson who scored earlier that game. And then Jake Dengler, both in the 65th minute, both grabbing their heads and wrestling down to the ground. And the rule says anytime, and even in other soccer leagues too, the rule says if you put your hands on someone's head, neck, or face, it's an automatic red. And it should be an automatic red. And they should have more discipline for both sides, especially the Miami side, because Robbie Robinson is really not known for that, actually. So discipline is important right now. But 58% possession that Miami has compared to Tormenta with 42%. Tormenta actually has more of a shot opportunity than Inter Miami has. So pretty added bonus. So 3 shots on goal were all goals. Meanwhile, with Tormenta, only one out of 6 shots on goal they have converted, which makes it 3-1. 14 shots, 6 on goal for Tormenta, 7 shots on 3 on goal for Inter Miami has. 9 fouls for Inter Miami with 13. Yellow cards, 3 of them on Inter Miami. Red cards on both sides. And 5 saves for Inter Miami. So, yeah. And then this game, it looked like we were about to break this curse against DC United, which, the nightmare that started this little meme that happened a couple of years ago before, the pandemic took over the world. Against DC United, we lost 2-1 that very first game when we had the lead, and then we blew it. So it looked like we needed to break that curse, and they almost did so. But classic Inter Miami, the defense blew it. Classic. So Leonel Campana, 31st minute of the game, he scores again. Wow. So it looks like we found our captain. We found our score attacker for Inter Miami of the whole team. It's Campana. It's clear. It's clear as day right now. And then next up is Damian Lowe in the 45th minute. And by the time we get to stoppage time, it was Fontes for DC United who break the scoreboard in the stoppage time, which is such a frustrating goal. That should not have happened right in the squeeze of halftime. Yeah, that can't not happen. It can't happen, especially when we have the game in our hands. And I have this fear that we're gonna blow it again. Thankfully, we didn't blow the game, but we blew the lead regardless, because Kamara in the 74th minute scored to equalize the game 2-2, and that is your final score, but not before a second yellow card for Durkin, which would be his red card. So he was sent off, and Inter Miami was trying to take advantage of the fact that they were playing in 10 men, and we still couldn't capitalize. The shots were too deep, outside the box, and it goes over the net. That And to make matters worse, we have 2 games this week, which would create a lot of disputes. So it's going to be a hard week, at least for a couple of weeks until, the magical happens. Hopefully, because remember what I said, Orlando versus Miami in the U.S. Open Cup, that's happening next week in 9 days in this time of the recording. May 25th. All right, in Exploria Stadium. Oh, tough game. We don't have a good history against Orlando City at this point. In Orlando, Florida. We're actually winless in Orlando, Florida. Winless. That's something to take note of. And we got to do it right to advance into the U.S. Open Cup. But for the rest of the week, in 2 days, we got Philadelphia Union, who are on a winless run right now, but don't get fooled because they are on a reign of terror. And they want blood to NYCFC, and they're taking it out on every team, including NYCFC. So don't be fooled, because we could still lose. And then on Sunday, we got the Red Bulls. So, and then next week, May 28th, guess who we got? Western Conference champion Portland Timbers coming into town. So I'm not confident about this week. These coming weeks, folks. I'm gonna be straight with you. I am not confident, and I'm very nervous. Very nervous. All right. Enough about soccer. Let's talk about the Dolphins. So Dolphins made some moves, folks. So let's see. What do we got for the Miami Dolphins? I'm gonna tell you right now once I get to it. So we signed some free agency players, including the one big name, Melvin Ingram, on the defensive player. And what a signing. What a signing this has been. So Melvin Ingram signs a 1-year deal for $5 million. He played for the Kansas City Chiefs. So what a big signing that is. And the fact that this signing is actually made, our defense is actually starting to load up. So that's good news, because like I said earlier, during the free agent signings, it's not our offense that we just need to build up, because I think our offense is great. But now that they got Melvin Ingram on a defensive line, a defensive back, yeah, our team is loaded now. And I heard they're not done yet. They're not done. So yeah, folks, this is actually exciting news for the Dolphins side, and for football. Now we're even more excited to watch football and win games, and hopefully make a run for the playoffs and even a championship. So, speaking of championship, Miami Heat. Finally, they're starting to get things done. So after a miserable, half and half miserable week against Philadelphia 76ers, now everything's on our side, because since that loss, we actually went on a big run in the fourth quarter on the Game 5 in Miami, Florida, and we won big. The final score of this game was 120-85 Miami Heat in Game 5, and just like that, we were one win away of advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals, 9th time under Pat Riley. PJ Tucker with 10 points, Jimmy Butler with 23 points, Bam Adebayo with 12 points, Gabe Vincent 15 points, and Max Strus with 19 points. So other teams, other players, they're getting it done. They're getting it done, and they got it done big. They got it done so well that other players on the bench got their opportunity to get some couple minutes in the playoff time to get some player experience for the future. And here's an example of it. Dedmon's been playing for the majority, but Amir Yersevin got some minutes. He scored 4 points. And Highsmith got 6 points in the playoff game. Tyler Hero with 10 points. And Victor Oladipo getting some minutes in, 13 points. And the guy who we wanted most, Duncan Robinson, scoring 4 points. So, yeah, pretty good Game 5. but an even better Game 6 because this game, we advanced. We advanced through, and I actually watched this at my friend's house with my other friends, and we were celebrating. We were celebrating big. We have moved on to the Eastern Conference Finals, and we did it in Philly, so we got more days off. PJ Tucker with 12 points, Jimmy Butler with 32 points, Bam Adebayo with 10 points, Gabe Vincent with 7 points, and Max Strus with 20 points. This was a closer game, but in the end, we got it done. We got it done big. And, give credit to Joel Embiid, man. Even though he had a fracture in his face, he still played through. And so you got to commend him for that. So, respect to Joel Embiid. They played their hearts out. But we played better. We played better, and we know we played better. So we move on against Philadelphia. But now we know who we're playing in the Eastern Conference Finals because yesterday there was a Game 7 between Milwaukee Bucks and Boston Celtics. And ultimately, Boston Celtics won, and we got them on tomorrow night, actually, as well as the dispute of the scheduling for the different playoff series. So for the reasons unknown, we are still not getting the respect that we deserve. Couple of other people who give us respect, but for the rest of the media, nah. And you know what? Let them underestimate us for the rest of the season. We're still being called the dangerous loomers, believe it or not. So we're also being known as the first seed frauds, meaning we play like a champ only to get exposed in the playoffs. So who was it that lost Game 7 last night, too? And lost pretty badly, too? I wasn't trying to diss Phoenix, but I'm just saying. Just saying, man. So, yeah, Miami Heat versus Boston Celtics once again. And this is the third time in history that they met in the Eastern Conference Finals. First time that happened in 2012. We know who won that series. And one couple of years ago, we know who won that series too. So we begin 8:30 ESPN. They're the favorites, and we're the underdogs. And good, we want to be the underdogs because the underdogs is some of the magical story. And speaking of the underdogs, winner of the week, Miami Heat winning the semifinals, going to the Eastern Conference Finals was impressive enough. This was even better. And boy, did they came out different. They came out absolutely different. It's all thanks to the one guy in our team, Carter Verhaeghe's Florida Panthers. Game 3, we got obliterated. 6-1. The new week, we kind of thought that our playoff hopes were done. We have the President's Cup trophy. We're getting the curse. And we're known for being a laughingstock to exit the first round. This was a different story. Let's talk about it. Game 4 in Washington, D.C. We did not start off strong. It was T.J. Oshie, the veteran of the Washington Capitals. Power play goal. And Nikita Zadorov for the Florida Panthers to equalize. So no goals in the second period, but a lot of opportunities for the Florida Panthers in the second period, especially the power play. By the way, 18 power plays in the playoff series against Washington, and we never capitalize any of it. And the stat like that is frustrating. Let's just say it's a frustrating stat to look at. We should have scored at least one. I would have been happy, but 0. And third period, boy, we got exposed. There was actually a controversial call. I think it's controversial. So let's see. There was a big hit by the face area, which should have been the power play, on Bennett from Washington. A big hit, collision of the head, and whether it's inadvertent or clean or not, anytime if it hits in the head area, it's a penalty. Plain and simple. And Washington did not get called for a power play. And immediately seconds after, Evgeny Kuznetsov, I can't pronounce the name because I'm not good at hockey names. He scores a goal for for Washington, and to make it 2-1 lead over the Florida Panthers. And boy, I can't tell you how mad I was after that goal. I was so pissed. I actually watched it right here in this very bedroom. That same TV, I watched it happen. So an absolute frustrating goal to concede, but eventually Sam Reinhart actually equalized late in the third period, 2-2. And then we got to overtime. And who was the scorer in overtime? We get to the the player of the week for the Florida Panthers, Carter Verhaeghe. Scores 3-2 for the Florida Panthers in overtime. He won Game 4. The series tied, and we won. We won. So that happened, and we move on to Game 5 on Wednesday. And you want to talk about comeback, Cats? Wow, this is an even greater comeback. Yeah, the goals that happened in the regular season, the comebacks were great and all, but in the playoffs, this is even sweeter. Because we were down 3-0 at home because of TJ Oshie twice. One of them was a power play, and Justin Schultz. So it's 3-0 Washington already. And then Carter Verhaeghe happened again. He's placed the score open for Florida Panthers. And then Patrick Hornquist by himself from the assist from Carter Verhaeghe to make it 3-2. And then Sam Reinhart equalized in the second period. So there was 6 goals that happened in the second period. And in the third period, Carter Verhaeghe scores again. It was a nice goal, and we take the lead 4-3. And late in the game, it was Claude Giroux to make it 5-3 Florida. And then just like that, we have won Game 5, and we take the series lead 3-2. So we're heading back to Washington, very confident about this. It is oh boy, we literally have the series in our hands. We have it. But there was a tweet that I saw, and this happened in 2012, so 10 years ago. Last time we made it this far in the playoffs with the series lead in 2012 was against New Jersey. That year they made it to the Stanley Cup and lost. But my point here is this. We were close, but then we dropped the ball. And it happened in Sunrise. So I got nervous instantly on that, but thankfully it did not happen. Because Friday, guess what? We moved on. Final score was 4-3 in Washington. No goals in the first period, but there was a lot of clashing. So in the second period, Nick Dode to make it 1-0 Washington. And then after that, Ryan Lomberg equalized 1-1. So third period, Nicholas Backstrom 2-1 Washington. So I'm getting nervous because they could equalize the series. But thankfully, Claude Giroux answered it right back. Minutes later, make it 2-2. And then guess who scored before the overtime thing? It was Sasha Barkov. Alexander Barkov's second goal in his playoff series. 3-2. We're heading to the very confident to win it all in this series. But then tripping happens. Sam Bennett had to go to the penalty box, and then TJ Oshie again equalized on a power play 3-3. And it was an empty net too, so double fuck. So heading to overtime, very nervous. And guess who scored? Just take a guess. If he gets it right, yes, it's Carter Verhaeghe. And before I even talk about the goal, I want you to know that I had one of the loudest score roars I've ever done in my life in recent memory. Loudest score roar I have ever done in my entire life. This was a huge goal, and that ultimately wins us the series against Washington, and we move on to the Eastern semifinals, in which now we know who our opponent is. But regardless, Carter Verhaeghe does it again. his 6th goal in this playoff series, and it was a big one because we won the playoff series for the first time in 26 years. 1996 season where we made it through the playoffs, as well as the Heat did make playoffs, and we advanced through. That year we made it to the Stanley Cup. Boy, this was impressive, and this made me happy. Thank you, Florida Panthers. But now we have a bigger challenge because Game 7 that happened this past weekend, Tampa won 2-1 against Toronto Maple Leafs. And once again, we have a playoff scenario against Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, there was another Game 7 that I want to talk about quickly before we end this video. Dallas Stars versus Calgary Flames. So, why am I mentioning this game? I mention this game because if we were to have the scenario of the playoff schedule, this could have been a deciding factor. So, if the Calgary Flames win, our playoff games would start on Tuesday. And by the way, Miami Heat also plays on a Tuesday, so they will follow almost exact schedule as the Miami Heat did for the Florida Panthers. So, but if Dallas Stars will win, then our playoffs will start on Wednesday this week. Unfortunately, Calgary Flames won in overtime, so good for Calgary. But that creates this. Then it creates this problem. Not so much for the problem for me, although I'll have to take some sacrifice with baseball. So I'm probably going to miss some baseball games because of this. So, although I could try another device, but I'm not very lucky at this point, especially when I'm trying to recover. But it creates this problem right here. Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay Lightning playoff series coexists the same time with the Miami Heat and Boston Celtics series. Now, Florida Panthers series starts earlier than the Miami Heat, but it's still the problem because then this will lead to this problem. I will have to grab the remote. I have to change the channel back and forth, at least during the second intermission for the Florida Panthers game, that I can concentrate on the Heat game. Now, that's not a problem for me personally, but some people are not lucky because some of them don't have devices, some of them don't have phones, computers, or tablets, or iPads like I do. They will have cable TV, and they will have to be forced to turn the channel back and forth, and that's the problem. However, with the Florida Panthers, it's an even bigger problem. I think the scheduling in this is bad. I say it's really bad. I don't like it at all, as much as most of the Panthers fans don't like it. So, we're following almost the exact same schedule as the Miami Heat, exception to Game 3, which is taking place at 1:30 in Tampa. But there's another problem. After that playoff game, it's another one the day after. So back to back. What? Why would you have a back-to-back playoff games? Shouldn't you have rests in between? I don't like it at all. I don't think NHL knows. They're not even aware. I don't think they're aware of what's going on in the South Florida world. It's a huge opportunity. They're gonna miss out badly. They're gonna miss out on the ratings thing because South Florida, we love sports, and this is we have the hottest sports region in the country right now. All right, they're blowing us, okay? Because the Heat game are on too, and they cannot solve that. Then yeah, you're missing out. Tampa's gonna watch, yeah, for sure, but Miami wants to watch too, and they can't. And unfortunately, some of us they cannot do both, and that's where they create a problem. So, take notes for next time. The first round series, they did it right, but for the second round, they did it wrong. So, yeah, you dropped the ball. I feel like you should have been more aware, but, what can you do? So, we got Tampa Bay Lightning series. So, at this point, we wanted the rematch, and we got the rematch. In this case, actually, this was the same case last year, too. In order to be the champion, we got to beat the champion. That's the quote. This is the quote right here. In order for us to be the champions, we got to beat the champions. And that's coming from a Lightning fan. And boy, I agree with him. We want to be the champs, we got to beat the champs. This is the biggest playoff series in our franchise right now. And this is also good for the state of Florida, too, because we want to prove something to the hockey world. That, yes, hockey can work in a warm climates. We have the other city, Tampa, they won championships. Florida Panthers, we're winning games big time. We are the best team in the league. The best team in the league. We're proving that hockey does work in Florida, and we're proving that hockey does work in the South region. The hot, warm climates. By the way, Texas, well, depending on parts, but Texas, they are also a warm climate. Well, not in recent memory now because they're getting snowstorms in the wintertime, but that's besides the point. My point here is it can work in the South if they had tried, and they tried pretty good. We're proving it. We're proving it. And we're gonna put on a show against Tampa Bay Lightning, and we are going to win it. Hopefully. We're gonna win against Tampa, and we're gonna play against New York or Carolina, and boy, it's gonna be fun. I can't say for certain, but you cannot be pessimistic. You gotta feel optimistic. And boy, it's really happened, the high heat in the 305. That's going to do it for this recap, folks. I'm sorry I can't really concentrate more because, the allergy is starting to kick my ass. But that's going to do it for this recap. This is a huge week for all sports. Inter Miami's playing this week. Both playoff series starting at the same day. I just don't like it. But a big week. Big week. Get excited because it's going to be a long couple of weeks. At the very least. We have an opportunity to go back to the NBA Finals. We have an opportunity to go through even further in the playoffs and the Stanley Cups. For the Marlins, they got to take notes because they're losing and everyone else is winning. It's a Miami trying to rebound. And Dolphins season coming up in a couple months. We're excited. That's going to do for this video, folks. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more content because Miami TVG has your back. When he does, we'll be right there with you for the entertainment you deserve. Miami TVG signing out, folks. Good night, everybody.